Let's begin from the Volta region, specifically the Ketu South municipality, where residents along the Aflao police station Diamond Cement Road have today protested over the deplorable state of the road. Watch this. Years ago, my colleague Seram Abla de Souza visited the community of Akloploe, which is along the stretch. She spoke to some of the people.
Moya na chijami meta zona moanyuro na ko passenger ha hono version ba mo hlena bara manki subata anya kamya glo ko embe mi de kuku gar no ba jira mo do na mi o
Jim Ablekoko is also asking for the stretch to be fixed. He also complains of virtually the same thing that Madam Esther told us about, that it's difficult using the stretch, especially when it rains.
De konye akoto kosi François. Moi anyina versus na mine be ne mi hami so kopé mo gbona java ple noa mimte zona di tuto. Abe opogan o le moji ale we mo agblan. Miminya mo mi atono ne mi le dusi mi be aloji toma opogan va tona mi ba aloji la we hale afi nyu be yato. Ena be mo mi do America amese amado tepola tout le modio yakata na monyo ko la janire bam abe ne si chacha mete mo atomo afi la nyu mi photo alors mi moto mi to a pour ganto tambe atofuma na ba for kuchan ajona le modio na mi yakata.
He's also saying that the heavy-duty trucks that use the stretch also poses a lot of danger to lives, because those using the motorbikes, if they decide to use a certain portion of the road, the heavy-duty trucks also want the better portion, and so they tend to, virtually struggle over the little, spaces on the stretch. And he is also adding his voice to the plea that the stretch from the Aflao police station through to Diamond Cement be fixed. Okay.
We'll hear more of the people's concerns later in the bulletin, but Municipal Chief Executive Elliot Edem Agbenowu gave some hopeful timelines.
The Diamond Cement Road, indeed, it's in deplorable state. I'm very much aware, and I've been plying that road myself at times to look at what happens at the factory. The first MPP government constructed that road, actually, before it's in that state now. We have this 1 million per constituency, which we've grouped into IPEP, Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Project. As part of IPEP, part of the money are going to be used to do some capital projects, that is road. So the first thing we did was to send the Diamond Cement Road to be considered for awarding. However, what we are also doing as an assembly, we have a grader, we planning. Actually, the plan we've agreed even with the GM of Diamond Cement, and he's also agreed to assist us with some fuel so that the assembly will come in and grade the road. Just grade it and make it a bit more tolerable, especially for the trucks that go there and traders that go there to buy cement. So there's plan. It's because of the rain. You know, constructions are not friendly during rainy seasons. So we're just thinking that when the rain is a bit subsiding, then we'll just go in and grade the road while we await for the road to be awarded. Presently, some of the roads that we sent have been awarded, and I'm sure Diamond Cement will also be awarded soon, so that we'll have it.
That is then
road.
To say that the roads you've sent have been awarded, but for now, the ones that have been awarded, Diamond Cement is not part of it.
Exactly, it's not part of it now.
Is it possible for us to kind of going into a certain agreement with Diamond Cement to have them fix the road, maybe for a tax-free period or something?
Yeah, I think that's not far from the truth or the right thing for us to do. We can. In fact, when I invited him, that was also part of what we discussed. But we have some assurance that first quarter of 2018, most of those roads that we sent are going to be awarded. So until then, we want to wait. When it is not awarded, then we can now think about this arrangement where they fix it. Then we'll look at their tax system for them. Indeed, it's a business, it's a factory, and they are ready. Should be able to do that.
Now, Mr. Edem Agbeno has joined us via Zoom. Thanks, sir, for joining us. So this conversation was in 2018. 3 years down the line, why has the road not been done?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And very good morning to our cherished viewers. Yes, in 2018, we had this conversation. Then, as I said in the conversation, we were looking at the IPEP to do us the honors by doing the road for us. However, this IPEP thing has gone through a lot of processes. Changes have come. And so the Diamond Cement Road wasn't, because of the large capital outlay nature of it, was taken out, IPEP. And so we have replaced some of these big capital projects with school blocks, which have been done together with CHIPS compound and the desk and other things that we can do using the IPEP. That is the $1 million per constituency. But the other thing we are exploring now is that because of the nature of that road, it is a special road. It is not just a road that we can construct at any time, or we can just construct as usual, how all other roads have been done. Why I'm saying that? Because the nature of trucks that ply that road daily. If you look at that road from Aflao down to Diamond Cement and beyond, you can see that beyond to Akpokpule is a bit more trouble. It's the same road, but because this part is being plied predominantly by heavy trucks, which carry cement and heavy loads, this part is being very, very bad. And so when His Excellency, the President, made a tour, he accepted the plea from the chiefs to fix the road. So we have been given 8 kilometers, which includes the Swansea Beach Road, the Agbozume Town roads. At the Diamond Cement is just about 3 kilometer stretch. So what we did was to separate it for a special redesigning. Redesigning means that they have to check the texture and also the layers, and also to reinforce that road so that when it is constructed, it will not be what we are seeing today. It will have to last for a test of time. Because of that, that Diamond Cement 3 kilometer stretch was secluded for a special treatment. That treatment has commenced. What we are doing is that a team from Urban Roads were here to first of all assess the roads, to also look at the waterlogged nature and also the reinforcement. And a machine was brought. The engineers know.
When did this team come? Ms. Agbeno, when did this team come to do the inspection?
Just about 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. Help me understand this. Help me understand this. Help me understand this. You said that initially it was too expensive to add to the $1 million per constituency project. That's what you said.
Exactly so.
Okay, so you told us this 3 years ago. It takes approximately $2 million to lay a kilometer of road. That means that you could have done 2 out of the 3 kilometers of road by now if you were going to dedicate the funds to that project and raise it to asphalt level, which we know would not have been the case.
Yes, I think you are right. But you see, the whole thing is about the number of needs that we have in the municipality. Yes, the road is also important, but the school children also need desks to sit on. They also need shelter, classroom to also sit in. Our mothers also need CHIPS compound to also, when they get pregnant, to also get a place for taking care of them and also for safe delivery. And so once government, that is the urban roads, have accepted in principle to separate that part for a special redesigning, the assembly, the local government, thought it wise to rather use those funds to solve the educational problem, to solve the health problem, so that the urban roads, as promised, can concentrate on the 3 kilometer stretch of the road. And that is what I was telling you, that it has already commenced.
Came over. No, fine, I'll come to that in just a moment, what you said about it starting. But when Urban Roads told you what they told you, did they show you a source of funding that they were going to get to fix the road?
Of course, GOG funding.
Okay, so it was going to be general government money. There was no direct line of funding. I'm asking this question because we know that there are numerous other funds which are available to provide desks, to provide school buildings, but the nature of infrastructure for poverty eradication was that the people choose what they want it to go to. And your people have expressed on numerous occasions that their priority need is the construction of that road. Are we not departing from the use of that money if we decide to use it for something else when the people have chosen that it's to be used for the road?
Well, that is just one of what the people have chosen. The people haven't just chosen the road in its entirety, leaving the other things. So we have prioritized. And in prioritizing, we look at the capital outlay of said projects. We look at what that is the priority I'm talking about, scale of preference, what we can do possibly first to benefit the people. I'm not in any way saying that this road is not important. It is important. But what I'm trying to explain is that the amount of money that is going to be used in the construction of this road alone can do so many classrooms, can do so many health projects, can do so many other things equally that the people needed and have also informed us of. And I'm saying that we depart from this because we have made a special appeal because of the special need of that road and the special nature of that road and the re-engineering of that road, which we think that as a local assembly using IPEP, we may not be
I'll come to that. I'll come to the capacity.
The Ministry of Roads and Highways can help us.
Right. I'll come to the capacity of that in a while. But I've done a bit of work with Ministry of Roads and Highways, and I know that on many occasions a partnership is entered into with private entities for the private entities to support with funding to carry out these projects. You told my colleague 3 years ago that you were exploring the option of having Diamond Cement supporting the construction of the road whilst we are looking for funding so that maybe they could also have some things like rebates. You answered in the affirmative. You said it's an option you're exploring. The road is still not done, Mr. Agbenu.
Yes, that was an option we were looking at. An option
Why haven't
for
you explored
them to fix it. Well, we look at the BOP and also the property rate that they pay to the assembly. But after a conversation with the GM later, management of Diamond Cement, they were not ready. And indeed, there were a lot of publications from the factory which says that they were paying tax. And so what they need is government to fix it, not for them to fix it and later pay. So that was an option, a proposal that I made, and hopeful that the GM, when we go into that conversation, he will agree to do that. But unfortunately, that wasn't agreed on. There were other proposals that came where some investors came, wanted to fix the road and toll it. But again, that is also beyond the local assembly, towing of roads. Okay. So we have also made same proposal to the Ministry of Roads and Highways. But again, we haven't gotten a favorable response.
Right. So is it your contention then, Mr. Agbenu, just a moment, are you saying then that when you made that statement on the record, you were not saying something that you knew was feasible? You were just talking to the public? You were not making a commitment that you knew was feasible?
As a leader, that is one of the options that I believe can be feasible. And having said that, I went further to engage the management of Diamond Cement. It was after my further engagement that we realized, and it came to the fore, that they cannot do it. Looking at the capital, the number of years that it will take them for them to get a rebate in order for them to fix it. What rather they were talking about, I think, was not proper for them to, they were always talking about grading. And grading, the assembly has already been doing that every year. Feeder roads, urban roads, highways usually come to the assembly to help us grade roads yearly. And so they're also proposing the same thing. And I think that wasn't what I was rather proposing. I was rather proposing fixing re-engineering and also making the road good, motorable for they themselves and other motorists.
Mr. Agbenu, can you tell the people of Ketu South when the road will be constructed? And I mean, where construction will be done on this road?
Yes, as I was building on a point, the exercise has been done. Since that exercise has been done, they are now going to prepare the bills of quantities. When the bills of quantities is being prepared based on the feasibility studies and the examination that was conducted on the road, that will be sent to the Honorable Minister of Roads and Highway for approval. When the approval is being given, then we can now start procurement of that road.
Help me understand this. Help me understand this. I'm sorry.
At least 3 months.
I'm sorry, sir. Help me understand this. We spoke to you 3 years ago and you said that some roads have been submitted for contracts to be given out. From 2018 to 2021, what you're saying is an evaluation has not been done. A procurement bid has not been sent to the ministry. No bill of quantities has been. Basically, you're starting the process afresh 3 years down the line, Mr. Agbenu.
No. Maybe you got me wrong.
Please explain to me. Please explain to me.
I said some routes.
I didn't say. I didn't suggest.
Swansea Beach Road is on contract.
Sorry, I didn't suggest that you said you had submitted this road. I didn't suggest that you said you had submitted this road. I was saying that you were aware of these challenges. We told you of this 3 years back. It was taken from IPEP. It was taken out of IPEP. But it's still 3 years down the line that we are seeing that the process of procurement is starting. Because what you are describing for us is a process of procurement from its nascent stage. When you decide to do a road. That's what started 3 weeks ago. Is that not the case?
Yes, of course. Yes, that is exactly the case.
That means you haven't made a move since 3 years.
This road, because of the special nature of it, we have done other things And we realized that, look, because of the nature of the vehicles that use this road, urban roads advised that this is what is supposed to be done. And so when a new letter and we commence a new thing again, that is when the examination was carried on. That is when the bills of quantity is now being prepared. That is now approval is sought to be given.
And this process started 3 weeks ago. And this started 3 weeks ago.
So, yes, I agree with you that it's a new thing we are commencing, but we are commencing it on a good note, knowing that we have not done all our preliminary findings. We have not done all the things we needed to do. This is not something we will commence now and end on the road, but this is something we will commence and it will end successfully this time around.
But Mr. Agbenu, basically you are saying that since the project was taken from IPEP, no move to put this on contract was made till 3 weeks ago. Basically, that's what you're saying.
There was moves. There were moves.
But you're now starting the procurement process.
There were moves.
Mr. Agbenu.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you.
After 3 years.
There were moves. It doesn't mean there was no move. There were moves. But you see, there is a gap between lobbying and also getting what you are looking for. So that process, fine, you may say that it kept a bit long. But to me, the good news is that we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. The road has been taken on. We have done an examination and we are moving into what we know that once it starts now, that road is going to be fixed. And to me, that is the good news. And to government, that is what we should be celebrating now, that the roads has been taken on.
We celebrate with you, sir. My colleague who did that interview in 2018 is named Sarah Abla de Souza. She has a message for you. She says that she's coming back in 3 months and we are hoping that we have some more progress to report at the time. Have a good morning, sir. It's Elliot Edem Agbenu. He is DCE for K2 South. Now, many of the young girls plying a trade as Kayaye in Accra's markets have had to drop out of school. Old Fadama, where many of them live in Accra, has no public school. In the second of a 5-part series shining light on the lives of head porters in Ghana, my colleague, Justice Bedu, asked Valentina Roberts, who he followed for days in Ghana's largest slum, why she left school at the risk of getting raped in the slum and her dreams of going back home.
My name is Ibrahim Abubakar Sadiq. The school was established in 2013 and is taking care of Kai children so that their parents will go to market and come back with them safely. At first, the Kai girls were sending their children to the market, and we decided to take them from them so that we will be taking care of them in the from here so that they will go to the market and come back to meet them safely. We just want to change the future so that these children will not join their mother's paths in doing the Kai job.
Hala balere osaka hala balewa aichinda kan trata saka trata wa mekabe wesu belawu la musu uswa da hampo enne muka kwa mchetela aka mugonne uya saka muka damu were yo fufanam next time form atebaka muko abe gan be na kere abe dix be amana abe ise abe magima musako moyo fufanda kifo ayo ganna be na gere abe amanu be kia hapo wi mu abrola chiru tramna ayo be mana school na kere be uniform baba. Rape and harm. Majorly, my baby. Back in America, the best. Baira da kusaka ba maka wiya musaka na wa mutwa chere atwa ma be cheka ba cheko nuru annaka wa ahire maka chama na sanna ma no wiya masa chama kisma jesi ano me was like mutela sa make ya masa go chanya aha mo chie amutu mutre shop amaka ma princess adaha awu awi akala sa mutre ma akala sa nambe menena aha boy no bolo na hone.
Now, joining in via Zoom to talk about girls' rights, abuse, sexual harassment, and education for young adults trapped in the KIA business is Edith Asemani, a child and youth rights advocate. And on the factors that drive girls to leave the North, we have Haja Lamnatu Adam, a women's rights campaigner based in Tamale. Ladies, welcome. Let me start with you, Edith. What are the dangers that girls like Valentina face when they live in the slums of Accra?
Thank you, and a good day to all viewers. Girls like Valentina face a vast array of challenges, from physical to emotional to, you just name it. One of the major ones which we see in Justice's documentary is the bit about abuse and physical abuse. And it's the obvious, the fact that a lot of them carry loads that are way bigger than their necks, things that actually affect them physically. Then there's the bit of shelter and accommodation. So a lot of them do not have places to sleep, or maybe I should say decent places to sleep. So they end up, some sleep outside, some have to come together and contribute to sleeping, sharing a few kiosks here and there. And so the risks that are accompanied with them sleeping outside also include the issue of defilement or rape. It also includes the issue of health, because we know that the issue of malaria and those things that happen when you sleep outside. Then there are a lot of issues that are also related to sanitation, menstrual hygiene. There are so many things I could go on and on about. But the point is, generally, it is unsafe for girls and women. The entire phenomenon of moving from their communities to the big cities is usually unsafe, and they usually do not have decent places to sleep. And it is the reason why we really need to continue to talk about this and ensure that everybody comes on board to protect these girls and women.
Now, Aja, tell us, these girls know they are going to live difficult lives when they leave the North, which is where most of them are from, but they still come, and we understand that it's because of the same economic challenges everyone complains about. Shed some more light on that for us.
Yeah, so good morning and good morning to our viewers. It's like for those of us whose friends also travel abroad, they come with flashy cars, but usually they don't tell us how difficult it is. And so at the rural communities, you have others who have stayed in the big cities in Accra or Kumasi, who when they are coming, buy new clothing, buy very expensive, nice creams, and make their, skin very light, bring new things, probably smartphones, things that they haven't seen in the rural areas. And so others think that it is very juicy when you come, So, but beyond that kind of motivation by their peers who return, there are other factors also that are, asking them to go. One is the poverty issue, which we have spoken about. And the other is also about the girls trying to, amass some assets, and get ready for marriage. Many times we go into marriage with a lot of things, clothing, a lot of bowls and silvers and things. And at the rural communities where parents are very poor, they may not be able to support their young girls in getting them ready. So the only thing is for them to ask them to go, to Kai and then try and amass these things and come home. And some also would want to go just to get a skill, something that they'll come home and learn a skill with. Maybe the person wants to do some hairdressing, some tailoring, and would need a tailor or something. Beyond that also, parents want them to go and work so that they can bring income back home. So there are a whole lot of factors, and factors even, going beyond just the economic one to cultural issues. As we have in forced and exchange marriages, which can also force the girls to flee. So FGM, forced marriages are also issues that can let girls run away, from home to the cities. And I've also mentioned that sometimes also the infrastructure. For those of us working in rural communities, a number of times you see that the communities just have up to primary 6. And there's no JSS. So once she's done with primary 6, she's done with school, because the parents do not have to support her to buy a bicycle or to go rent a place in a town for her to continue education. So she finally ends up in the bigger cities.
So Edith, having understood exactly how dangerous it is, and we will come back to Edith, I understand we've lost her, but let me finish off with you, Haja. Having understood how dangerous it is and also what the drivers are, where does the solution begin, really?
Well, for me, I think that we must look at the prevention. We must look at the inflow. What do we do around the inflow? Clearly, there is serious poverty in our rural communities. We've had serious gap when it comes to development within the urban and also the rural communities. If our urban cities, even within the northern regions, there are more opportunities within the northern regions, and there are more jobs and skills available for young people to learn. I don't think that they will want to run out. That is one. We also need to also resource women, especially rural women, in the things that they do. We also need to fight against some of the systemic barriers that are, prohibiting women's progress. For example, we need to look at women's access to credit, other access to productive resources, and see how we can support women. Because when women are really supported, then they can come back to really look after their girls well. And then also we must work around our girls themselves. We must have programs that target girls. We must build their confidence, either in school or out of school. We've noticed that for girls in school, they have had the opportunity, they have had the platform to have safe spaces. But for girls out of school, it is lacking. And so probably we need to rethink of what we can do with girls who are not in school. Before we then come back to look at when they arrive in Accra, all of those associated violations as Edith has mentioned, before we look at that.
Right. So I'm glad that we are sectioning the conversation. Haja, you've dealt with the challenges that we can tackle with before they choose to migrate. But there's still about 10,000, or there are still about 10,000 of these young people already here in the urban centers. So Edith, how do we begin tackling the issue of Kayaye from the perspective of those who are already in the urban centers?
I think it starts from having to know who is here. And so it is important that we actually have an idea through a very comprehensive national database of who are the girls who have moved and who are the girls who are here. What sort of identification do we have? It starts from knowing the numbers to be able to work with them. What are their age? What are their age disaggregations? Are they mostly adolescents? Are they people who are 10 to 19, 8 years? Are they mostly 20 to 24? And if we have an idea of these things, then we would be able to design solutions that are fit for the age categories and for the backgrounds of these people. Mind you, the trends have changed. In the past, when we talked about girls who have migrated, it's mainly, like Haja had rightly pointed out, mainly girls who may not have even gone to school before, girls who are running away from forced marriages, girls who are running away from female genital mutilation. But now a lot of them are actually SHS leavers who want to come and make institutions. I've actually spoken to a number of them, and I noticed how the trends have changed over the years. And so if we use the same interventions that we have been using in the past, then it may not necessarily work the way we are hoping for it to work. I think that a lot more of the girls are not necessarily interested in livelihood skills, even though there are a lot of them who want to be in livelihood training. There are a lot more who want to enter into white-collar jobs. There are a lot more who have been exposed to media. They have seen chief justices. They've seen female presidents. They want to be like them. And so we need to create the kind of environment for them to be able to achieve the highest level of education that they want to achieve, so that they can become like these people. So it's a whole, there are a number of things that we really need to deal with. And apart from that, Haja had mentioned the solutions before, but when they get here, it is also important that we deal with the issue of shelter and accommodation. How do we ensure that they are protected, they are well protected in a place which gives them an opportunity to work and pay this is not just the issues we talk about are national issues. It just tends to affect marginalized groups more. The issue of affordable accommodation, for instance, is a general issue that affects a lot of Ghanaians. But because of the unique situation that Karaye are in, it tends to affect them, giving them opportunities to be able to have good shelters, prevent them from going in, getting into violent situations. And where there are issues of abuse and rape, we need to give them an opportunity to report. And when they report, the perpetrators of the violence must be dealt with. And we generally have a systemic issue in Ghana when it comes to that. So we really need to deal with national problems overall, and then we can tackle their issues very.
Thank you, ladies. Edith Asimene is a child's rights and youth rights advocate, and Haja Lamnato Adam is a women's rights campaigner based in Tamale. Now, Mfantsipim School University Practice SHS, Asin State College and Edinaman SHS have booked a place at the National Science and Maths Quiz Championship scheduled for October this year. Mfantsipim girls, for the third time back-to-back, will mount the national stage after they were walloped with a 48-point gap by University Practice Senior High School. Maxwell Agbagba has more from the University of Cape Coast, where day 2 of the Central Region qualifiers continue today.
Mfantsipim girls, the ladies from Mfantsipim girls have lost their NSMQ mojo. University Practice Senior High School just qualified to the 2021 National Competition of the Science and Maths Quiz. They stopped Mfantsipim girls right in their tracks. At the end of the contest, it was 67 points for University Practice Senior High School, 19 points for Mfantsipim girls, and then we had the other schools.
From what we saw, they couldn't do anything. You see, when we even subtract all their marks from ours, we come. So we are the best. In fact, we are very good. We are very, very happy. We are very, very happy.
Oh, we are very, very, very excited. We are very happy, and we know we are winning the upcoming ones too.
Thank you. Thank you. Which schools do you want to beat? Oh, I know there's this rivalry. Oh, wait.
Wesley girls.
You want to beat Wesley girls?
Butcher down, you see those things. Yeah.
We have a history. We have a history in science and math. And this time we are telling you that we are coming with vim. We are not leaving any school, anything or 10. This time we are coming, we are prepared. So everyone should watch out. You should watch out for us. You see, I just thought they were going to be a match. I thought they were going to be a match, but they were not mad. We took it follow from the. So follow!
So we are waiting for Boche. Wesley girls. And then the rest, you are prepared for them at all. You can do everything to beat them. You are really prepared. So we are taking it this year. So they should prepare themselves and come and meet us.
Yeah. So on the first day of the regional qualifiers here at the University of Cape Coast in Fansipim School, University of Practice Senior High School at Sin State College, they've all qualified to the 2021 national competition in October. Edinaman SHS also qualified. Let's speak to the boys from Fansipim School. Let's find out from them what the feeling it's like for them and what we should expect in the 2021 competition.
It's an amazing feeling to have qualified, but a school like Fansipim, we don't think our position is in the qualifiers, but well, it's been grace from day one, and we are here now, and we've gotten the win. And we hope that the grace of the Lord will continue to follow us, so that we'll continue to amass the wins on our journey. And we hope to get very far in the upcoming competitions.
Okay.
We hope that by grace and by mercy, the trophy will come back home to where it belongs.
It's a good feeling. Coming to the regionals has not been one of the things that we really love to be, but it happened that we have to come back to the regionals this year. So it's a good feeling. We thank God that it's a good win. There are a few things to work on, but it's a good win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are the old students piling pressure on you to win the trophy?
For the trophy, every grade A school seemed to be that way. The old students would always want to, take it for bragging rights. So we take the pressure, but we don't let it over us. We take it by the stride, one contest at a time.
Have with us here the Central Regional Director of Education, Mrs. Martha Owusu Ajiman, and she's here with us. We're going to have a short conversation with her to find out from her what she makes of the National Science and Maths quiz. Okay, Mrs. Ajiman, you're welcome to JoyNews.
Thank you.
Okay.
So it's very good. It makes the students take the learning of science and mathematics seriously. So it's good. And we all know competitions are very good for educational endeavors. So it's good.
Okay. You know, in 2019, St. Augustine's College actually won the regional competition. They went ahead to win the national competition. What kind of joy and what kind of pride did it bring to the Central Region?
Success is sweet. Victory is nice.
Failure is an orphan.
Yes. So you said it all. It's nice when you win, and we were happy when we won, and definitely we didn't like it when we lost to just by a margin to Presec.
Yeah, Presec Legon. That was in the 2020 competition.
Yes.
Okay. In 2019, that was when St. Augustine's.
Yes, we had it, and we were going to keep it.
Yeah.
And this time we are determined. We will take it from them. It will come back. It belongs here.
Okay.
It belongs to Central Region. So we're going to take it this year.
Okay. So you're optimistic that the trophy will come back to the Central?
Oh, no two ways. Surely it's coming back.
Okay.
You saw what happened. We nearly brought it back.
Yeah.
So we've learned our mistakes, and we're going to.
And we're building up to the grand finale in October. Stay with Joy News for the very latest on the NSMQ. Up next is Business with Daryl Kwao. Stay with us.
Good morning. Time for business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Government is being urged to incentivize the industrial sector to avert its dwindling fortunes. Whilst both the agric and services sectors were able to post growth in 2020, the industrial base of the economy couldn't withstand the pressure, hence experiencing its poorest performance in 6 years. In an interview with Joy Business, economist Professor Peter Korte suggested some solutions to revive the rail sector's contribution to GDP. There's more in the following report.
Figures published by the Ghana Statistical Service show that the second largest contributor to the economy, industry, recorded a 3.6% contraction in the pandemic year, a sharp nosedive from the 6.4% growth recorded the previous year, and the worst performance ever since the GDP figures were rebased in 2014. But speaking on the marketplace, economist Professor Peter Korte says unstable exchange rates coupled with other factors have contributed to the industrial sector's poor performance.
Government should speed up some of the things it has outlined in the budget so that people's pains or suffering will be minimized. But one area will be lower cost of doing business, interest rates. If interest rates do come down, certainly investors would be able to borrow at reasonable cost and be able to invest and stimulate jobs. Same with exchange rates. So far, experienced stable exchange rates, but if exchange rate starts depreciating rapidly, then we would have challenges with industry because businesses plan to import raw material and many other things. So we need a stable exchange rate. As I mentioned, to stimulate jobs, it's not just industry. There should be growth in the other sectors. Once they grow and pull out the industry along, we are likely to see more jobs.
Professor Peter Korte has, however, called on government to incentivize the industrial sector in order to improve its market offering.
In some derivation, you find incentives, other incentives given to those who employ most. So there are targeted approach in terms of finding people or industry players who employ the most. Sure. And then some tax incentives are directed at them, some specific tax incentives. Perhaps that will be one way of dealing with the job problem. And GRA may look at some of these options available in other countries where there's a tax relief if you employ so many people in a given period. I think these are my views on job creation.
Professor Peter Korte also called on Ghanaians to be circumspect in their demands from government in the midst of COVID-19.
In other news, 225 women startups are undergoing a special business mentorship program meant to empower them to enhance their trade. The 6-month training program is spearheaded by local financial institution Sinapiaba Savings and Loans to address the issue of unemployment in its catchment communities. Prince Opia has more.
150 women entrepreneurs have started receiving mentorship from 75 mentors under the Women Mentorship Program. The initiative is expected to build the capacity of women startups to empower them manage their businesses in today's challenging business environment. Mrs. Joyce Owusudabo is the Chief Programs Officer.
The purpose of the program is to help the women to build a can-do attitude. By so doing, we want to empower them so that they can access resources. We also aim at training these women to build their capacities so that they are able to really manage their businesses very well and have the required skills that they need to invest into the business to grow it. We also aim at using them as change agents in their community. So as we train them, they also go to train other women that together they build their community. The mentors are more experienced, and so they are bringing their experience and knowledge to the advantage of the mentees to build them up. By so doing, they can better enhance their business opportunities of recruiting new people and creating jobs for other people.
The program, according to officials, will also equip the women with requisite skills to take advantage of the opportunities presented by the COVID-19 pandemic.
So we have COVID-19 as part of the training session that we're going to have, but we're also looking at the silver linings in COVID-19. What business opportunities does COVID-19 present itself with that the women can take advantage of to expand their business or even diversify their business, geared towards increase in their profits and income.
CEO of Sinapiaba, Tony Fosu, meanwhile, advised entrepreneurs to understudy mentors to better their businesses.
You know, in business, so when there are pieces of advice,
was some particular trade, and I'm trade secrets.
In today's business world, you sometimes need some pieces of advice and trade secrets to succeed. So this mentorship is very critical for you startups so that you don't repeat the mistakes they did. But remember that mentorship is not a competition.
Mentorship is not competition.
The second cohort of the program is a 6-month training expected to end September this year. It started last year with 157 women benefiting from the program. Prince Apia reporting.
And that's all in business for now. Nabil is standing by with some sporting news. Don't go anywhere.
Like Daryl said, Muftar Nabila is with us to give us the latest in sports. I hear the women are revving up to bring us some magic.
The CAF have done something very interesting. What it means is that in the next African Women's Cup of Nations, either Ghana or Nigeria will not be there.
Why?
Because the Continental Football Governing Body decided to pair the Black Queens and the Super Falcons together. So Ghana will play Nigeria in a two-legged qualifier to have the team that will qualify to participate in the tournament slated for July 2, 2022. In 2018, Ghana hosted a competition. Nigeria won it. They are the record champions of the competition. Yesterday, the draw for 2022 was done, and Ghana was paired against Nigeria. So Ghana or Nigeria will not be part of the outcome for the next edition. And Nigeria are current defending champions of that competition.
Interesting. Do I get the sense that it doesn't look very good for Ghana, considering the fact that Nigeria has won it more times than any other African country?
Yes.
And they're defending champions.
Yeah, the Super Falcons have always been dominant when it comes to playing against the Black Queens. In recent times, I can't remember the last time Ghana actually defeated Nigeria. I remember in February 2018, when Messi Tego led the Black Queens to play them in the Waffle Cup of Nations. She defeated them to win the competition. But they had said that they didn't have most of their core players. That was why Ghana was able to beat them. So it's basically what it is. So what it means is that Ghana might not be there, but it doesn't appear the Black Queens will give this a better shot than we all anticipate they can do. Because if you look at the Black Queens and their history against Nigeria, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
Muftar Nabila, let's say a prayer. Ramadan is about to end, so use your last few days to pray for the Black Queens.
Well, there are every chances that it has ended. If we sight the moon today, we'll pray tomorrow. If we don't sight the moon today, we'll pray on Thursday.
Any last minute you have to pray, just pray for Black Queens.
We'll do that.
That's the point. My name is Daddy Odazi. This has been News Desk. Mapito Sabidi is up next with Joy News Interactive. I'll be back at midday. Be good.